This episode is brought to you with the help from Newbelity. Newbelity is your go-to IT partner offering tailored solutions in talent acquisition, infrastructure support, network reliability, and cutting-edge AI. We help you stay ahead by turning technology into a strategic advantage for your business. Newbelity, turning your challenges into powerful opportunities.
All right, well, welcome to another episode of Viking Press Pass. I'm Matthew Nickel, voice of Augustana football, and joining me today, Mike Digioia, running back and captain for the Vikings. So, Mike, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Appreciate kind of squeezing this one in a little bit. You've been pretty busy here the last week or two, but hey, great timing, big week. So couldn't maybe time this any better. So, well, hey, Mike, for those watching, maybe don't know much about you. Would you mind just maybe doing a quick intro about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a senior running back from Schaumburg, Illinois suburbs, and I'm majoring in accounting and minoring in data analytics. And I'm actually today going to accept a job offer from Selden Fox in Oak Brook.
Nice. Yeah. This is like your announcement. This is it. Yeah. We should have streamed it.
Yeah.
Heck, maybe we can tag them on the announcement. We'll see here. Talk about it afterwards. All right, so we're in week 7 of the season. Winter, fall is upon us. I swear this week it is starting to get cold. So, but hey, Vikings are 3-2. Coming off a nice rebound win, at home here against the Blue Jays. And okay, we got to talk about Saturday. So, 27 carries, 216 yards, 3 touchdowns. All 3 are career highs for you here at Augustana. You're the Powerade men's student athlete of the week. So, talk to me a little bit about Saturday and how did it feel just running the ball?
Yeah, no, of course. All I can really say is O-line. Those guys played their butts off. They did really well. And honestly, I had no clue that I had that many carries or that many yards throughout the game. Never really thinking about stats, really just trying to get the win and grind the win out until the very end.
Well, as we were going in, I was tracking it because I was like, you were like number 1 and number 2, I think, in attempts for individual game highs going into that with like 22, 23. And previous to that, it was Bryce Frank from Carthage had like 164 against Elmhurst. So, I was getting text messages while I'm calling the game. Hey, is that a record? Is that the high? I'm like, well, it's not an Augie record. Matt Rowe holds that with 342. But by God, it's a big one. So, and then of course, we're messaging the D3 football guys and just pushing it out there. And then of course Fred Ware then comes back with 221. I was like, if we could have got maybe one more playoff. That's all right though. Phenomenal week. Now I don't think I was trying to find out here. I don't think that's your career high because I believe your junior year against Wheeling, you had 219 on 19 carries. Is that your highest game?
Yeah, and then senior year actually, it was also against Wheeling, and I'm pretty sure like all purpose I was over 300. But yeah.
Nice. Well, it's an awesome year, man. You're having a great year so far. 3 straight games. You've been over 100. 22, 23, and now 27 carries. So, I know when we need to get the ground game going, it's give it to Digioia, man. Let's go. But now the Vikings, though, you guys rolled up 352 yards on the ground. I think what they say, we threw it once in the second half, something like that. What was it that was clicking? You talked a little bit about the offensive line. Like, what was clicking so much that made it so successful?
Definitely communication. And throughout the week, we've been talking about consistency. So really with myself and the O-line or the RBs and the O-line making the correct calls. And for us, the RBs just running just running, going based off our instincts and running with aggressively.
Now, how would you like describe your running style?
So throughout this year, all I've been telling myself before the games is just run. My instincts, I have to trust them, and I just have to run. Pretty much is what I've been going off of. I like to make contact. I'm pretty physical. So I would say that's a big part of my game as well.
The last couple of years with, kind of Ravelli number one and you in that number two spot, Ravelli was certainly more, I would say, patient, like kind of waiting for some of the holes, was able to cut back and cut through. I mean, when I knew you were coming in, it was like, okay, you're ready to truck somebody. So I think you've always, at least in my view, you've always enjoyed the contact side of it. But it seems like this year you're a little bit more patient in the hole and letting it evolve. And it seems like there's an extra burst, to get to that second level. Really noticed this weekend. I mean, you're getting to the second and third level before, most before really anybody was touching you. And then the continued yards after a catch, or yards after run in first contact was like, if we could measure that, I think that'd have been an awesome analytic to look at. I think this past Saturday.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Um,
Really interesting.
do you feel like your game has evolved a little bit more in terms more of a patient kind of cutback runner a little bit more this year, just being more involved in the offense, or how do you think
Yeah,
you've kind of grown?
for sure. Well, sitting behind Ty, he was amazing. So really watching a lot of what he had to do, I've grew and learned off of that. And also, this is my fourth year getting some of the carries for the Vikings offense, so I feel a lot more comfortable. I know what my linemen are doing, which makes my job a lot easier because I know exactly where they're going. So really, just kind of being a veteran of the game has helped me out a lot this year.
Now, when you were growing up, was there any type of running back that you like to model yourself after, or you just kind of looked up to and said, that's the type of running back I want to be? Was there anybody that ever kind of stood out?
Yeah, Walter Payton, sweetness for sure. Um, I have I have stuff all over my room back home of Walter Payton, so that was always the guy that I love to watch. Love watching him jump over the line. Also,
But you had a good one this weekend. I mean, gosh, there's been a few times, I saw you hurdle like Zion, going to the next level. So you're definitely not afraid to leave your feet. Um, but generally, what I appreciate is you land back on them pretty nimbly and you keep going, right? So you're not just diving for it. But um, now, what about that wildcat play? That was new.
yeah, that was a new package that we put in this week.
I was like, where's Cole going?
Yeah,
It makes snap to you. So that was a pretty cool play. Now with Ben Ludlum and Josh Lim, Ben had 84, Josh had 66. How would you describe that running back room and like the impact or change of pace maybe Ben and Josh kind of bring to the table?
yeah. Well, there's always so much competition during practice. We're all fighting for that spot. Nothing's guaranteed for anyone. So that really helps everyone out in a total sense. But also having the change of pace when I'm tired or something and having them go in, knowing that they're going to be able to do their job and exceed it. It's awesome. They're both exceptional running backs for sure.
Do you find like packages or any type of plays or setups or any different at all? Depending on when you three are in, like to like play to any like strengths or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. Some of us are stronger in other areas than other, and Coach Jones is really well at putting us in the best spot to succeed for sure.
Now, the other thing I noticed this past weekend was John Landers got in kind of in that H back spot. So again, kind of another wrinkle, to the running game there. I think I saw this first weekend where We had the double tight. It was really a very balanced formation, which I hadn't really seen, or at least can recall, I should say, certainly this year. So it felt like offensively, you guys were mixing things up on the ground this past Saturday.
Yeah, no, it was great to get a bunch of different packages out there just to mess with some eyes, but really do what we do really well. So, and then yeah, back to John. He's been a roommate of mine since sophomore year, and we were friends freshman year. So, Coach Jones wanted him to put on 25, 30 pounds of muscle, and he did that, and he's been playing that fullback position really well.
Love it. I love it. They always say, bring back the fullback, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, they say take the most athletic linebacker or lineman, put him in a number 44 jersey, and let him block the way. So,
yeah.
Now, when you were at Schaumburg, in the meet the 2021 class interview with Deep Dish Football, you wanted to rush for 1,000 yards and score 12 touchdowns. Stepping back into the lead back role this year, what were some maybe goals that you set for yourself coming into this senior year?
So definitely I wanted to rush for 1,000 yards. And Ty and I always talk. We're really competitive, so I want to beat out Ty on that. And then I really didn't have any touchdown goal in particular or anything really. I just wanted to be the best possible running back that I could be in my last year of football.
What did you do like in the off season to kind of prep for this season? Was there anything special in particular that you do during the summer to get ready?
In particular, not this summer. The summer was a lot different than any summer that I've ever been through before. But really working out all the time was good for me. But going back to the summer being a lot different, my girlfriend actually was diagnosed with brain cancer, so we had a whole big process going on over the summer, and it's kind of really changed who I am as a person. Just seeing how she always is. She's always puts her best foot forward. She's attentive and all this other stuff. And it really hit me in a different way. So I've grown a lot as a person over the summer for sure. And I feel like it's translating onto the football field.
Well, I tell you what, man. Anytime someone super close to you is going through something like that, it's tough. It's
Hmm.
tough. Certainly, um, definitely, starts to put, I think, some different things into perspective, and you
Yeah.
can start to find different motivation, and just life becomes a little bit different. So,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
sorry to hear that. Um, Now, one of my favorite plays of yours. I don't know what the play is called, but I have dubbed it the Digioia special. So if you've ever watched any past one broadcasts, it's your wheel route up the boundary in a pass route. So anytime I see you running it, I call it the Digioia special. So might be a new T-shirt, but what's kind of your favorite setup or situation or play that you like to run?
My favorite play that we like to run in game, I'm gonna have to go with uh, downhill counter for sure. And then just being able to read off that second polar. My favorite play that we run in practice that we have not shown in a game yet. So I can't really say exactly what it is, but it's a little bit of some trickery.
All right, all right.
Yeah,
I like it. Might have to save that for maybe North Central or something.
yeah,
It's always interesting because there's certain things where it plays to a strength. It's a creative thing. It just always seems like it seems like when we run that wheel route to you to the boundary, it always seems like it's almost timed so perfect, that nobody expects it. And that might actually been maybe one of your first touchdowns. I think might have been receiving
yeah.
through the air that way. So, but nonetheless, okay. So the Vikings are traveling up to face Carroll this weekend. up in Waukesha. They're 2-3 overall. They're 1-3 in the conference. They played Wheaton fairly tough. I think they lost like 22-10, something like that. They beat Milliken. They gave up the lead in the last 6 minutes to North Park. 2 of the last 3 years have gone into overtime. Last year, it really came down to the final play. Um, what are you expecting to possibly see Saturday when you guys go up to face Carroll?
Well, in terms of their defense, they kind of call their defense like an offense. What our O coordinator has said is that he's got a little call sheet and he'll call whatever he wants whenever he wants because he knows that his guys are going to be there to do their job. Um, but I'm expecting the D line to pinch extremely heavy and have them kind of bounce it out to the linebackers who are sitting in the alley. So really a lot of patience and reading it out and waiting for that one to pop and taking advantage of it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Um, Now, when you think about them, are there like where do you say like some of the strengths of their defenses as you guys have been kind of scouting and you played against them the last 4 years?
Yeah, definitely their front 6/7. They got a really high motor. They're really physical. They fly in all the time, but with being super fast all the time, that sometimes does come with mistakes. So they're also pretty vulnerable up there, I'd say for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, especially you get too deep. I mean, that counter can come right back underneath them, and then you're at the second level facing maybe 2, 3 people, really at most. So, yeah, so it's going to be exciting. So it might be a little chilly up there though here this weekend. um, okay, so now you were originally selected for the Under Armour All American Blue Gray combine or the game down in Dallas, I should say. But instead, you went to Canton and did the combine. What was that experience like? Were you a junior then at that time?
I was a sophomore.
Sophomore?
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great experience. I got to go with my family and really get to compete with all the other kids that were invited to that combine. It was great. It was a great experience getting to talk with new people, different coaches that were there, and really competing with the guys that are at the going to be at the next level when they got to college. So it was really good for sure.
Now, was that also like a scouting play for colleges to come and attend as well?
Yes, sir.
So, so you're there. How did you end up getting to Augie?
Yeah. So I would say COVID played a pretty big role in my college decision. I knew that I wanted to go to a smaller school. Um, and my cousin, actually, he's a year older than me, and he was a freshman at Augustana when I was making my decision. Um, so I came down between North Central and Augustana, and really what it came down for me was that I wanted to go somewhere and grind it out and win. I didn't want to be just thrown in, sitting behind guys and waiting and being the best all the time. I wanted to work my way up to that spot, and I knew Augustana had a great program. The coaches were amazing with recruiting. Coach Jones was always texting me, always in contact with me. So they really won my heart, I guess I'd say for sure.
Well, and I mean, we obviously love to have you and glad to have you. So it's been a ton of fun watching the last couple of years when you've come in and run the ball, and just really to see your career really progress to where it is now. I mean, gosh, you're at I have it here on the screen: 101 attempts, 575. You're at 8 touchdowns. Having a really good year. I think last year was your highest. I want to say like 638, 683, one of those two numbers. So definitely on way to a pretty successful year with a lot of football left. Now, when you came to Augustina, you were awarded the presidential scholarship. So that's pretty high honors from, just an academic excellence perspective. And you're still a president scholarship recipient. Where does the drive come from when it comes to maintaining, academic excellence?
Yeah, our coaches really push student athlete. Student comes first. So take care of your classwork for sure. And then my mom always is in my ear. What you put into it is what you get out of it. So just dialing in and doing all the classwork, getting the grades that I need to continue on to my career. Yeah, that's where it's from.
So, accounting and you said data analytics. How did you choose kind of that major, and what type of insight? Well, you're going to be accepting a job, so maybe we can talk about that. But how did you go down that route, and kind of choose that major?
Yeah, so freshman year I just took all my gen ed classes, and then sophomore year I was still undecided. I took just an accounting class just to try it out, and my teacher, my professor, had a lot of cool like projects and games that we played in it. So I've always been a big numbers guy, so it kind of related to that as well, and I've stuck with it ever since, and I really enjoyed it. It comes pretty natural and easy to me, I'd say, and it's definitely something that I could see myself doing, and I will see myself doing in the future.
Absolutely. Well, the data analytics side, I wish they would have had it when I was there at Augie. I mean, it wasn't something that was even offered or much really even talked about. Because now down the road in my career, and even with Augie Sports, and I did a project last spring with the analytics class. They built me a model in our studio to pull in data and do some of those different things. Um, I think I found a love for analytics actually when I blew my knee out in Colorado playing indoor flag football. So um, that the world continues to move towards it's a numbers, it's black and white, it's all about analytics, it's about trends. It's how can you tell a story through analytics and metrics and data that otherwise has not been available. So no matter where you go and what you do, it's going to follow you. So
Yeah.
can we talk a little bit about the job? So you said you had a bunch of interviews the last couple of weeks. So can you share some insight to that?
Yeah, so I interviewed with a couple different accounting firms in the Chicagoland area, and I felt that Selden Fox was a place that I would love to call home, I guess, for my next year, my first job coming out of college. So it's located in Oak Park Terrace. I'm a audit associate is what I'm called, so I'm going to be doing auditing, just really checking out financial statements for other firms and or other clients, and all that stuff. So. I met with a couple of the partners that work there and vice presidents, and they're all extremely nice people. And I'm really looking forward to getting my foot in the door.
Did you intern there by chance at all, or?
No, I did not. I actually met them at a career fair in Naperville. It would have been week 3 of the football season on Monday. Um, so a couple of the football guys, we were excused from practice. We went out to that career fair, and I spoke with all these different firms. And my professor here at school actually introduced me to the recruiter at Selden Fox, and we hit it off, I guess.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
One thing I never did at Augie was go to a career fair. I was a first generation student, college student. Didn't really have a ton of direction on what to do, and I think today our athletes and our students are set up for such more success than we have in the past. So I think that's a good credit to the professors at Augustana as well. Obviously, having those connections. I mean, you'll quickly find relationships and just even soft introductions. Can be key in being successful. So, well, congrats. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate it.
yeah. So when are you planning on potentially being your first day?
We were looking at September because I'm gonna try to take my CPA exam right once I get out of school. As I'm in the study mode still, we'll call it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I need 150 credits to do that. So I have to pick up an extra 1 credit class in the spring in order to do that, and then I have to take a couple parts to the CPA exam, and hopefully I pass.
Well, good. Well, best of luck, man. Best of luck. Um, okay, so outside of school, what are some activities you like to do? I know you mentioned golf is one thing you like to do. Tell me a little bit about, how do you kind of wind down and relax outside of school and football?
Yeah, it's really just hanging out with my friends. The people that I currently live with, I've been living with them since freshman slash sophomore year. So really just best friends. And everyone on the football team is also such a great close friend. So hanging out with all them, no matter what we're doing, is always a good time.
Um, well, you got to be having a good time being a Bears fan. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, gosh, right now, they're 4-2, in the NFC North. I mean, but then again, you look at it, it's like the Lions are 4-1. They're playing out of their minds. The Vikings are undefeated, and the Packers are 4-2. So it's a strong conference. But how are you feeling about Caleb Williams and the lead Bears here?
I think it's looking good. His progress in particular is growing each week. Roma Dunze looks like an absolute beast. Um, and I think that they're finally getting things clicking, figuring out how to use DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson together. But yeah, I'm really excited for what they have in season. It's weird having a pretty good Bears team.
Right, right. I think like the last time was like Cutler maybe. Um,
Yeah,
well, it was also nice. I mean, yesterday, I'm not a Bears fan, but it's nice to watch them and see some success, and
hmm
even getting Cole Kmet, involved in the
yeah,
offense. It's like where you see a lot of teams be really successful is having a high end tight end. And talk
yeah.
about capability and the opportunity. I mean, that's a big matchup for a lot of folks.
Yeah, no, and I feel that he's a little underrated for his position for sure. He's a massive dude with insane athleticism, so get him the ball in open space and let's see what he can do for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's just scheme. Sometimes it's just the decision making. And yeah, Caleb's been doing good. I think I was a pretty big skeptic.
I was too.
Him coming in, and you just never know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like, can everything click?
hmm
Um, Now, lastly, I asked this to everyone. Best tailgate food after the game.
Best tailgate food. See, that's hard for me because after the game, I feel like I can't eat, but um, I think it's the Dakota Straight's parents. His dad, I think he's always on the grill making a bunch of different stuff, so that's always good. And then the Breedens in the back with their layout, but yeah, the really everyone, the Boltons, the Hartmans. I mean, it everyone always is bringing something good. It's always something different, so there's a lot to choose from for sure.
There is, and it's nice is in that tailgate area. It's funny you say it because it's like you've got the Breedens, the Boltons, and then I'm trying to think who's really next to the Boltons, McDonald's, and then
Yeah.
usually I think your parents are typically there. Then you got the Straits right across.
Yep.
So that's a nice little corner cubby,
No, it
for
is.
some good food. So
My parents managed to squeeze their way in the back there.
yeah, it's a good little spot, and plus it's nice going through. Like I had your dad made these like pork tacos that
Oh
were
yeah,
dynamite. Those things were dynamite.
yeah. No, he gets there's a place near us in a little strip mall, a little Mexican spot. I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but they have really good like cecina steak. He's always making that when I'm at home, so it's so good.
I love it. I love it. Well, Mike, appreciate the chance to connect here today. You've got coming off a nice big win, heading up to Waukesha to play the Pioneers. So I think we'll expect a tough game on Saturday. Is it's always a good matchup with them. But it's really every game. It feels a little bit like a playoff game, at this point, to try and get back to either that Isthmus Bowl or, potentially a playoff bid on how things kind of shake out. So, so best of luck to you. Best of luck to the Vikings, and appreciate you connecting with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.